Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today I just wanted to talk to you guys about growing up thick. And I know a lot of women, especially here in the US, kind of dealt with growing up thick. I actually wasn't always thick. I was actually a dancer at one point in my life. My grandmother was obsessed with dancing, ballet, jazz, tap. She loved all of that kinds of dancing. And, it was just, she made my mother do it, she made my aunt do it, and she even made my uncle do it. They all were dancers. All of them were dancers. And even, yeah, it's including me, I was a dancer. And I liked it, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as fun. It started to get a little boring after a while, and I was living here in Chicago when I was doing it. And my mother and I moved to Florida after she got married to my stepdad, my first stepdad. And, in Florida, she wanted to keep me active and she really wanted to have something for me to do after school. And I started taking up Taekwondo. I love, 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 love martial arts, and Taekwondo was kind of like my gateway into martial arts, and I love it so much. And I did that for about 2, maybe 3 years, and I was a buff little girl. I was really buff, and I would go to Chicago and back to Florida, and I would stay with my grandmother in Chicago. And it was after my mother got divorced that we moved back to Chicago, and I was about, I believe, 10 or 11 years old. And I started to actually gain weight because I wasn't as active as I was before when I lived in Florida. And because of that, I gained weight. I kind of sat in front of the computer all day and I'd watch anime and I'd just be like into the screen, just like directed right into the screen. And I couldn't help it. And I was just so focused on that. And I kind of went into a depressed phase because, when someone you're really close to, it may not be your specific parent, that your biological parent, but it was a parent that you kind of grew up with and they're no longer in your life anymore. You kind of think that it's your fault that they left, even though that's not the case, and that may not even be the issue. It could be something completely between the two adults but had nothing to do with you. But that thought always comes into the divorced kid's head. And I kind of had those thoughts and I was really depressed. And when I got depressed, I would eat. But I wouldn't eat like I used to when I lived in Florida and I was being all athletic and doing Taekwondo. No, my mother, she kept me on a healthy diet when I lived in Florida. In Chicago, when we were living with my grandmother, it's a different story. My grandmother loved sweets, so she always had sweets in the house. And so that's what I would eat: cakes, cookies, pies, and I would get thicker. There was a point in time when it was during the summer, right before I was going to start school, that I was trying to put on my pants. They were a size 9, and I was like, oh, this is fine. And I tried to pull them up, and I couldn't pull them past my thighs. And it was in that moment right there that I was like, wow, I've gotten so much bigger. And I went from a size 9 to a size 13 in, I want to say juniors or kids. Junior kid, I don't know, junior kids, somewhere in that. When you're like 10 or 11, you're in that pre-teeny stage. I don't know what size that is, but I was in there. I went from a 9 to a 13, and it didn't really hit me until I actually started school. I was bullied by some boys, and they used to call me mean names. There was a point in time when I would run, and they would say, "Oh, the earth is shaking. She's causing an earthquake." And hearing those things as a young girl is it's very heartbreaking, because to girls, really, appearance is kind of everything. And especially in middle school, all you want is acceptance in middle school. And to just have someone say something like that to me, it was really, it really kind of tore me inside. When I was in middle school, I was really a quiet, shy person, which was kind of like the direct opposite of what I was when I lived in Florida and I was doing Taekwondo. Yes, I was still kind of quiet, and yes, I was still kind of shy, but I was more outgoing. And when I came to Chicago and I kind of fell into that depression and my weight started to change and my body started to change, I kind of diverted into myself. And I kind of didn't want myself to really stand out because of that. And when after that, I was in Chicago for 2 years, my middle school life, my fourth and fifth grade year. And then 3 years, my fourth, fifth, and sixth grade year. I moved back to Florida my seventh grade year to my my mom, my grandmother, and my new stepdad, who is my current dad now. I love him very much. He's awesome. And he's a great guy and I love him very much. But when I moved back to Florida, I was kind of trying to figure out who I was. So I was very, still in that stage of, who is Nikisia? Who is she? So I kind of went through the whole gothic rocker stage that most people go through and are probably still going through. But I went through that whole rocker goth stage and I wore a lot of black and I was really into rock music and I was still kind of depressed because, again, my weight was, I still had those lingering thoughts and feelings of what happened when I was bullied in my school back in Chicago by those boys, and also when I moved to Florida. I was also bullied, but it wasn't as prominent. It was more of like, a snide comment here and there. It wasn't blatant bullying like it was in Chicago. And, still having that in me, and then the fact that I was also going through the goth rocker stage, I also used to listen to a lot of music, a lot of somber, kind of sad rocker music, and I actually had suicidal thoughts, thinking that my life would probably be so much better if I wasn't around. Everybody's life would be better, and I believe, this is my belief totally, that it was my Father in heaven telling me that that is a selfish thought. Your life is not your own. And as soon as I heard that, it was just like, done. No more. No more am I going to have these suicidal thoughts, because that's true. My life is not my own. And I have a purpose, and I'm going to fulfill that purpose. And then after that, I kind of was still dealing with that depression. I didn't have the suicidal thoughts anymore, but I was still really saddened. And as I was going into my ninth grade year, going into high school, yes, the dreaded high school, I spent a lot of time with my best friends, and I was kind of pushing out of that goth rocker stage of my life. And I was still trying to figure out who is Nikisia. I made a lot of friends, and we had a lot of fun times there, but I was still kind of in the shadows, really, because in high school, most people like to enjoy every aspect of it. The extracurricular activities, whether it's sports or it's clubs. And I did none of that for 3 years of my high school life. None of it. For 3 years, I was kind of like, the only things I really participated in was homecoming, was like the dances. So like homecoming. I went to only one prom. I really should have gone to both my proms, but I only went to one. And I don't know, it was, again, my weight. So living in Florida did not help the situation, because a lot of the girls in my school were very thin, were very pretty, and it was kind of like I was one of the odd people out. And kind of being, I went to a mostly white and Hispanic school, so kind of being like in my classroom, I'd probably be the only black girl or one of two black people in the room. So, being surrounded by different cultures, and I'm very happy that I was surrounded by different cultures and different people. I'm very thankful for that. And but it was kind of like, well, I had to live up to that kind of standard. You know, I had to be as thin as them. My hair had to be as long as theirs. So I wore weave, and, you know, I wore sew-ins to kind of like have that long hair. And I hate sew-ins. I hate them so much. They're gross. And I would even have like my braids, and I actually had someone call them dreads. I'd constantly correct people and tell them they are not dreads, they are braids. And everybody kept saying they wanted to touch them. I don't know. It was weird. But back to my story. Okay. So, yes. Where was I? Gosh, I'm too young to be forgetting things. Oh, right. So, because of, you know, I didn't really want to be seen, I didn't really want people to look at me and to see me. And because of that, I didn't participate in things. I hated sports. I hated sports because they kind of showed off my weakness, and that I'm overweight. And a person who is overweight and they're trying to run, it's not pretty. And I get tired easily running. I can't breathe, and it's best not to run. But you know, and I hated my body, actually. I really did. And I tried to fix it. I would exercise for a while and I would see no results, and then I'd quit. And I would do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again, and I would quit, because it's like, what's the point? I would just be like, I'm tired of it. And I would still hate my body. I would basically, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was trying to lose weight for the wrong reasons. And I guess because I was doing them for the wrong reasons, it wasn't working out, like, at all. So I was basically hiding my entire high school career because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want people to look at me, and to look at me and to see my flaws, to see that I'm a big girl. And being thick, you're kind of, it's kind of hard not to pay attention because of certain assets. When you're a thick girl, there's certain assets that are accentuated, like your breasts and your thighs and your butt. And these are things that guys pay attention to. And I had guys pay attention to me just for those three things. But, you know, growing up like that and looking like that and actually being like that ever since I was about 9 years old, I've had boobs, I've had a butt, but anyway, I've looked like that most of my life, and I've had guys of all ages pay attention to me. I've had people think that I was older than I actually was and try to hit on me, and that's kind of creepy. It's really creepy when you're like 15 getting hit on by like a 30-year-old guy. That is scary. Like, really scary. And it was really kind of, it kind of makes you feel like you're kind of an object. That, yeah, okay, I have these assets, but don't you want to get to know me? The person behind all of the boobs? Behind all the booty? Do you want to get to know the woman that's in here? And, you know, thinking, I used to have I talk to myself. And because I talk to myself, people think I'm crazy. No, I talk to myself because I like to hear my thoughts out loud. I like to hear my thoughts as if I'm talking to someone else, but I like to hear my thoughts come out my own mouth so I can hear them and try to realize and understand what are my thoughts. And one of them was, you know, I don't love my body. Okay, so why don't I love my body? I don't love my body because of the lumps and the bumps and the bigness here and the bigness there and the fact that I can't do this or I can't wear this. That's why I don't love my body. Okay. Well, I would get depressed about being so lonely because, yes, I had friends and yes, I would hang out with my friends, but I didn't always want to hang out with them because of my own insecurities. And I spent a lot of my time alone. And I still kind of spend a lot of my time alone. But it's I kind of was like, oh, I'm content with being alone. I'm fine with being alone. When I really wasn't. I was really lonely, and I wanted friends, and I wanted to be around my people, and my besties and all of them. But my insecurities were kind of taking over the forefront of that, so that I would be lonely. And finally, after, analyzing and trying to analyze my own thoughts, I finally realized that if I really want to be loved, I have to first love myself. And that is a deep and long process because it wasn't until actually, I want to say about 6 months ago, did I really, really start to love myself for who I was. And it's tough. I'm not going to lie. It's tough trying to love yourself for who you are because it's easier to love someone else and to accept someone else's flaws than it is to accept your own, because you kind of don't really you see your flaws, but you kind of hide them or you mask them so that, it's kind of like, oh, I don't see you standing there. I don't see you there. I'm just going to look over here. You kind of ignore them basically. And you have to accept who you are first. Like who you are as a person, who you are in here, and who you are in here. You have to accept that first. Because if you don't, then how do you expect someone else to love you? Whether they love you as a friend or if it's something romantic. You have to start with yourself first. And you have to first start by not saying negative things to yourself. And you have to start by also ignoring the negative things being said to you by other people. People will always and forever talk about you. It's going to happen. They will talk about you all the way up until the day you die, and maybe even some time after that. And you can't let that get to you. Because if it gets to you, then you're allowing them to continuously build in your mind that you're going to keep hearing those negative thoughts. And then you're going to start thinking that these thoughts are yours when they're not. They're someone else's thoughts. People who usually bully you or who are mean to you or say horrible things to you are usually jealous of you for some reason. So the things that you hate about yourself, someone else loves, and they hate you for having it because they themselves want it. And then there are also people who see the things that you hate about yourself and they love those things and they want you to love those things and they want to love you for those things, but you're always putting yourself down. And I have a lot of friends who say that I'm pretty or I'm gorgeous or I'm beautiful, and I've had people tell me this. And it isn't until recently that I actually started believing those things. You have to first change your mind in order to change your world. And once you decide to change your mind, things slowly start to unravel. All of those negative thoughts and comments that you used to hear inside your head all the time when you look in the mirror, or you see a cute outfit, or you see something that someone else is wearing, those negative thoughts start to unravel when you start to change your mind and say, I am beautiful the way I am. I am beautiful for my thick hips, my thick lips, my big boobs, my beautiful eyes, my shortness. I'm beautiful exactly the way that I am. And if you can't accept that, that's not my problem. That's yours. I am who I am. If you don't like it, you can go to another channel. Hey, you can walk away from me. You can turn this video off. But I'm still going to be who I am, whether you're here or not. And people think that that's really mean. But when you have confidence in yourself and you accept yourself, the right people will come to you. The right people who respect and love you just like you respect and love you. And they will show you the love you deserve. They will show you the exact love that you deserve because you yourself know how to love yourself. People will treat you the way you treat you, always and forever. If you treat yourself like crap, people are going to treat you like crap. If you treat yourself with love, honor, respect, people are going to treat you the same way because they recognize that. And, growing up thick was difficult, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, I was not like all my life grown up thick, but a good majority of it, I want to say a good 9 years of my life, I was thick. I was the thick girl. And I just wanted to share with you guys a little tidbit about me and how I went through growing up thick. And I know this is a hashtag. I'm not sure if this is a challenge or anything, but I just wanted to tell you guys about a little bit about my life and how I grew up thick and the lessons that I learned. And that I hope you guys loved this video because I did. And if you guys really love it, I'd like for you to give me some thumbs up, comment below, or you can check out my website, my blog, thickchick.com. That's thickchick.com. It should be clicked down there somewhere. And I really hope you have a wonderful and lovely, fabulous day. Bye.